All right, under the content page, you'll actually see chapter 1, and you will see the first set of PowerPoints. You're welcome to download them, do whatever you want. I'm going to download them just so I can show them a little bit easier, and we're going to cover this kind of quickly. Because we are most likely going to run out of time every class period, which means you might have to cover some of the material on your own. Since we're only meeting once a week, you might have to do a little bit. So I'm going to I do go off track quite a bit because I have a lot of experience in this, and I like to give you a lot of information, but sometimes I'll run out of time. I'm just giving you a warning up front. All right. Okay. Let's get over there. And let's start this presentation. Okay, this is Chapter 1, Introduction to Information Security. Again, it's going to be renamed to Cybersecurity soon. You know it will be. If you have the prior edition of the book, it's very close. The quizzes probably won't. Actually, the quiz question's in there, so you can probably still do it. We're going to learn a lot of stuff here. Okay. Information security says a well-informed sense of assurance that the information risks and controls are in balance. Are we doing what's required to protect our information? You guys all have personal information. Student, IDs, social security numbers, all that stuff is stored at Rose State. Hopefully, we're doing a decent job of protecting that. My identity was stolen 2 years ago due to the OPM breach, Office of Personnel Management, so like 15 other people on campus. So now every time I file taxes, I have to print them out and mail them in with a special code. Not a fun thing. Okay? And whenever I have identity theft done to them, yeah, my niece tried to steal my credit card. Didn't work out for her, but she tried to get one in her name and her address with my social. It was weird. But a lot of people screw up a lot of things. Okay? Security professionals must review the origin of this field knowledge. You need to understand how this all started. Way back when the internet started with the old ARPANET thing, some of you might know about that. Do you think they were worried about security? Initially they weren't. They're like, I got these two computers to talk. Awesome. Then they added a third one, and they kept going. Then many thousands. Oh, wait a minute. I never thought about security. I always give an example. So I'm going to build a bank, the Bank of Ken Dewey. Okay? I have a choice. I can go over here on 15th Street, and I can buy the 7-Eleven for cheap and convert it to a bank. Or I can build a new bank. What do you think would be my best option? What do you think? Buy 7-Eleven, cheap, convert it to a bank. How much security is built into 7-Eleven right now? None. Obviously, it's hard to get a bathroom, I'm assuming. But there's no vault. It's not built to be a bank. Our current infrastructure in this world is the 7-Eleven being converted to a bank. We're trying to convert it, but it's not working. That's why we're seeing new issues every single day about issues. There's always something. I love reading some of the articles about stuff people do. It's just crazy, okay? All right, the history of it. There's a movie out there, Imitation Game. You can get it at Redbox. It's also on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, you must. It's literally a required movie now. Imitation Game is amazing. I told another class about it, and the student the next week goes, I am so mad at you. I'm like, he goes, I went home and watched Imitation Game. Then my wife came home. I had to watch the game with my wife. Then my kids came home. I had to watch the game with my kids. Then my mother-in-law came over. I had to watch the game with my mother. Because I spent the entire weekend watching this darn movie. It's that interesting. It's about the Enigma machine. How this thing, it really... I watched another movie this last weekend, Hidden Figures. It's another excellent movie. It's like, wow, it's back in the whole time when racism was there. But these black women were awesome mathematicians. So it's another excellent movie. But it gives you an idea of where we started and where we are now. Okay? Did we start this whole thing? Okay. Right now, technology-wise, I don't have the latest iPhone. I got the iPhone 6S. But technology, are we, leading in the world? What do you think? The United States leading or falling behind?
I guess falling behind.
We're way behind. I'll tell you what. I went on a cruise in British Isles 5 years ago. My cell phone worked everywhere. I can't keep a cell signal in this building. Because we're way behind. Okay? In 2 days, we'll have a new president. That might change. We'll see. But the point is, security, we're playing catch up on everything. Okay? Everything. You know, I love technology. I literally buy nearly something new, like every day, every single day. But the problem is there's always something new and something new. And that's why Amazon Prime is like meth. You get Amazon Prime, you want something, you got it. It's there. So it's just crazy. But physical controls. What do you think a physical control would be for this room? Yes. How about that door? Were you all able to get in here? There was a physical thing keeping you from getting into this room. We have physical control. Tinker Air Force Base. I'm retired military. They have guards with guns. Physical controls. Door locks. You hopefully have a lock at your house. You know, all those are physical controls. For military bases, for all kinds of stuff. Okay? It says rudimentary in defending against physical theft, espionage, and sabotage. Okay? It always gets me. Tinker, many years, has that 4th of July celebration where they open the entire base, let the entire world in to see airplanes and fireworks. How'd they get them out? If you're a bad guy, go to Tinker Air Force Base on July 4th, walk through the open gates, and just don't leave. They do that so frequently. It drives me crazy. I've been to conferences at the FAA Center. The secure FAA Center, we got to have special clearances to get in. They have conferences where they open the gates wide open. How do they get people back out? So, you know, it baffles me on some of the stuff they do. Okay, I went to a meeting today downtown at a defense contractor, which we're hoping to get an agreement to hire a lot of you students. And my badge said escort required. Well, there was a group of us, but I really didn't see anybody escorting us. But, you know, it's tough, okay? They talk about a lot of stuff there. I mean, you can read over some of this stuff, but this field is changing. It's changing drastically. There is more jobs in this field right now than any other field, literally any other. I was in like 5 conferences last year, and every single one tells, oh, please, we need more people. So you're in the right place, okay? Enigma machine, I was actually up at the NIST up in Maryland. I actually saw that thing. Tell you, watch Imitation Game. You learn how it's just amazing. I mean, yeah, it's a movie. So they kind of changed it up a little bit to make it into a movie, but still the gist of it's there. And, you know, we actually talk about that in the cryptography course on the only reason they're able to break it. So, you know, but unbreakable. U571. Wasn't that also about capturing the Enigma machine, I think? U571, I think it was. Yeah, they went and got it in U571, but kind of interesting stuff out there. In the 1960s, we had the ARPANET. They started developing this thing to make computers talk. I started taking networking courses on my spare time on weekends back in the early 90s. Wasn't doing the other way. I just thought it was interesting. I actually bought a book on MS-DOS, which is precursor to Windows, back when the books were this thick. I read the entire book. It fascinated me. It said format C:. I typed format C:. Whoops. There goes my computer. Had to reinstall it all. But that's how I learned. But I learned on a networking system that we had a 300 baud network. Let me explain how fast 300 baud is. We would sit here on one end of the room and type in a message. Walk around the room to the other terminal and watch the letters appear one by one. That's how fast the network was back then. You guys are, man, I can't stream 3 network movies at one time. And we all have high-speed internet, don't we? Anybody in here with dial-up? There's usually one person. But can you live without it? I take a lot of cruises, obviously. I had a student message me and goes, I'm sorry, I cannot do my homework this week. I'm on a cruise ship. I reply back, well, I'm currently on a cruise ship grading your homework. You should have no problems. So, I mean, internet is everywhere. Jimmy Scruggs, our new professor, is going away for the summer for 2 weeks. But he's going to be teaching some online courses. He's like, you know, obviously I'll have Wi-Fi. Because the Wi-Fi is everywhere. It is. It's everywhere. Okay. Here's the original plan. And I don't think that I put the picture in here, but there was actually a napkin where you can see the drawing of the original internet. It was literally on a napkin. It's kind of interesting. They talked about how to get this thing to work. Kind of interesting. It started to grow. Originally it was used for military. That's what the whole point was. It was used for military. Then we started to add education and corporate and No safety procedures. Did you ever build something at your house and you got it to work? And I'm going to go back later and fix it. Yeah. When I built my house, I wired it myself. I put a network drop in every wall in every room. So every wall had a Cat 6 for network, Cat 5 for phone line, intercom, and what's the other one? Another wire. Speaker, I think it was a speaker wire. In every wall in every room. And then when I did it, I connected the ones I needed. But so the other ones weren't terminated. In other words, I didn't have the plug on the wall plate. Little by little, I was going back and added them. Finally, one day, I literally was like, you know what? I'm going to go back and finish every one of these darn things. I was literally on the very last one. I was in my pantry where my connections where this panel is in my pantry. I was doing the very last one. I have really sharp electrical scissors. And as I was getting ready to cut the wire, my wife opened the door and surprised me, and I cut the end of my finger off. It wasn't fun. It literally started squirting blood everywhere, and it actually grew right back. It's weird. Totally grew back. But point is, I didn't have any safety procedures involved in that either. But they built the internet, and they weren't worried about safety originally. So now we're playing catch up and trying to go back and finish those wall plates in the pantry, that kind of thing. Okay. Non-existent user identification. There's another book out there called Crypto by Stephen Levy, Levy. If you take the crypto course, you need to read that book. All the bonus questions are based upon it. Excellent book as well. But that one in Hackers, both by Stephen Levy. Hackers, they talk about at MIT where they started the first mainframe. When they first implemented authorization, identification, passwords and usernames in the system. Like, man, that's going to be so hard for people to... Imagine you've never had to use a username and password in your life. All of a sudden, you have to use one. That's a big change. So they put a sign on the mainframe that says, when it asks for a password, just hit enter. That's what everybody did. That we don't remember it. And it's tough. A lot of people. I mean, it's just crazy. To this day, there's a lot of stuff that's not fixed. Okay? It says... there's different papers on this, but they started thinking about securing data, limiting access, making things better is what we started to do in the 70s and 80s. Okay. Network vulnerabilities, they start talking about some of the things, but think about what we do today. Every one of you in here owns a smartphone, don't you? That's crazy. I mean, think years ago we had none of this stuff, and now we have everything, and how do we connect, and how are our networks made, and how is everything secured, and how does that work? So there's a lot of things, and they illustrate even back in the 80s that, hey, you know what? We're going to have issues in this area. Multics stands for Multiplexing Information in Computing Services. It's really old network operating systems of what it was. Okay. My first certification was actually Novell 311. How many of you have actually seen Novell 311? Probably none of you. That was my very first certification, was in Novell. I used to teach that here at Rose Day. Then I got NT4 certified, and I got 1,000 of them beyond that point. But we started with mainframes. We started with time-sharing systems. And some of you will take a Unix Linux class here with instructor Bill Richards. Has anybody enrolled in that class yet? Not yet. Bill Richards is the best Unix Linux teacher in the entire world. When you take his course, you're going to want to buy a Linux machine, I'm telling you, because he is that good. Okay? I remember in the mid-90s being at Bill's office over at Tinker, me and him surfed the entire internet. Way back when Mozilla 0.9 came out, there was like 5 websites. We literally sat there using that very first browser and surfed the entire internet in his office. That's back in these days. I mean, it was so awesome. It's like, cool. You remember when we had, Cox was originally called Roadrunner here? Does anyone remember that? Okay. When they started advertising Roadrunner and how fast it was, this guy walks into the office, comes out 5 minutes later, I'm done. And his wife's like, done with what? Surfing the internet. They were that fast. You could literally surf the entire internet. Well, back then I actually did surf the entire internet, all 5 websites. So things have been changing. A lot of the original stuff was by Linux or Unix. Where'd the mouse first come from? Anybody? Was it Apple? It was actually Xerox. Then Macintosh bought it out from Xerox. Windows, MS-DOS, Microsoft Bill Gates, to that point, paid a guy $55,000 for MS-DOS. And then he sold it to IBM. I mean, it's just there's so much stuff that happened in this time period. There's also another movie called Pirates of Silicon Valley, another excellent movie. You can learn about how Windows and all this stuff started. And there's also a movie called Steve Jobs. There's like 5 of them. The latest ones, they did a pretty good job talking about how Apple started and all this kind of stuff. So we started changing. 1990s. Networks became more common. I remember building 230 at Tinker. I helped install the first network with thick net cable. About the size of your thumb, it looked like a yellow garden hose. And you could only have a tap every 3 feet. I said, we're never going to have more than 100 computers. Never. Now look, we got 18 in this room. So, it's pretty crazy, okay? Internet became the first global network. Okay? They were based on standard. I remember installing TCP/IP originally, coming on like 13 floppy disks. You had to answer like 200 questions. It was using SLIP rather than PPP and all this other. Some of you might know what some of these acronyms mean. But it took a long time, but now it's getting there, and it's so much easier. Okay. 2000, millions of unsecured computers. I ran a consulting business for many years, and one of my clients was Nancy Burley in public relations. She was a public relations person for many of the romance authors. Debbie Maycomer, I can't remember all the names, wrote all these romance novels. Well, she asked me to go over and fix her network one day. So I said, I went over there at her house. I said, okay, what's wrong? And so she showed me her network. She had her Cox cable modem, and then her computer's plugged into it. I says, where's your router? I said, no, that's all I got. I says, wait a minute, you got a cable modem, and literally your computer's plugged straight into the cable modem. No router. A router is like a security device. So I got her network working. I says, but you don't have a router. Oh, I don't need one. She goes, this is what Cox gave me, that's all I need. I says, but Cox is in the business of selling you a connection, not securing your network. Now they do a little bit better at securing your network. Because no, it's fine. So I went home and remotely from my house got into her machine and called her up and said, so Nancy, how's it work? Oh, yeah, it's working great. You did a great job. I said, so how's that document, whatever? I saw the document she was editing. I saw what she was doing. I accessed her entire computer from my home. So how are you doing this? I told you have no security. She goes, would you mind coming back out? So at that point, I installed a router and secured her network. So, but there's so many people out there that don't secure their networks. They're literally unsecured. I bet half of you don't even lock your machines when you walk away from them. We have a deal here, at least with Roy and us staff members, that if we don't ever leave your machine unlocked. Man, when you come back, you're going to have My Pony on the desktop and Fluffy Unicorns or something playing in the background. But you need to secure them. The ability to secure computer data was influenced by the security of every computer which was connected to. So, say this is our entire network here at Rose State. We're all on one big happy network. So I get a vulnerability on this machine. You think it could possibly propagate to all the rest of you? Very good chance it could. I still remember the NIMDA virus. Some of you might have heard of the NIMDA virus. It actually affected via email, affected via file shares, and affected third way. I couldn't think of the third way. Well, I had to go out and fix another company, got infected, and that literally infected multiple ways. So the way you fixed it was you unplugged the network, and you fixed every machine, cleared it off, then you plugged it all back in. I was doing this entire organization. I had nearly done, but I was there the entire day. So I said, I'm going to go home for the night. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Somebody came in. Oh, I just need to do this one thing real quick. Power the entire network back up, but they're all infected again. I'm like, are you serious? Back, I used to run an ISP out of my house. I had about 9 servers running in a building in the back of my house. If you know anything about routers, at least the way it was, if you want to change your ACL, your access list, you had to remove the old one, then put on the new one. And then there's a split second where you don't have one. So I still remember I removed the old and hit submit to put the new one on, and instantly all my virus scanners went off on all my machines. They all got hit with a virus. Look, I had a virus scanner on. The point is, there's so many ways. There's people at all times trying to break into your network. I did a lot of research into spam. About 94% of mail out there is spam. We don't see it all because Google and all them do a pretty decent job of getting rid of it. but 94% of it is junk mail. Okay, cyber attacks going crazy every day. What, Russia supposedly hacked everybody just recently. You know, it's just amazing. So what is it? A state of being secure and free from danger. First of all, will we ever get there? No. There's always a vulnerability. I don't care if I'm going to have you in programming class write a hello world program that literally does one thing that says hello world. Do you think you can possibly do it without errors? You'll never be able to guarantee that, because how do you know? Am I going to run it on my phone or on a computer? Or is it going to work with everything? I used to do some beta testing where I tested software for companies for executive software. The fragmentation engine built into Windows? I used to do beta testing for them. And I was running one of the versions. It pops up, warning, corrupt volume detected, restore from backup. That's not a good thing. So I contacted them, and they're like, you did what? So I told them exactly the error I was getting. They were really freaking out, because, they're ready to release the software, and I'm finding this duplicatable error over and over again, telling me my system was corrupt, and I need to restore from backup, and they would FedEx overnight me cookies. I still don't. Because they really wanted me to, please keep working on this. They would send me cookies over, and I said, why are you sending me boxes of cookies? But oh well. But it turns out it was an incompatibility between the version of virus scanner I was running and their software. Because we were able to duplicate it. It turned out I had McAfee version, whatever, and it didn't like it. So the way they fixed it, in the little release notes you get with software, they said, if running McAfee, whatever, ignore the warning. That's not a fix. That's an easy way out. But so with security, you're never going to be secure. Okay. Successful organizations should have multiple layers: operational, physical, people, functions, communications. Could some of these be done or combined together? What do you think? I ran a small business. I was pretty much the owner, the CEO, the main technician, the guy who dumped the trash. I pretty much did all of it. So a lot of places they are combined, but not always. Okay. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of those. Okay. So the protection of information is critical elements. So I was having a heart scan done years ago over at the heart hospital in Midwest City. And it just so turned out I knew the nurse there. And they had me on Valium because they were putting a camera up my arm into my heart. So I'm sitting there waiting. They got me on all these drugs waiting to go in there. And I'm looking at her system, and they literally, once the nurse logged into the system, they just had a drop-down list for all the patients. So she would click on it, see the next patient records, and the next patient records, and the next patient records. And I was literally sitting there on Valium. I'm like, why? I was trying to explain, and she goes, I don't understand. What do you mean? So I was literally, it says here. I clicked the mouse, and now here's somebody else's records, and somebody else's records. So there was no security. And it was bad. It's changed a lot now over the years. But the point is, we want to keep this stuff secure. Okay? CIA. You're going to see this in probably every class you take here. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Very important. Okay? Like I said, they're confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We're going to talk about each one of those. Okay? Here they are. Here's another picture of it. Don't they talk about it? Well, okay, we're going to talk about it. Confidentiality. Okay? Name again? Brendan. I might get it someday. I really suck at names, by the way. Brendan does not need to view this data I have. So should Brendan be able to view it? No, he has no need to view it. So it's confidential. In other words, should I show it to them? Should Brendan be able to read it? No. Okay? Should all of you be able to see the grades and give the other students in the class? No. It's your personal information. I shouldn't be sharing it with others. Integrity. Have the grades been changed? You all see what happened in the fall with OKCCC? Someone had to see the article. Seriously? Someone in one of the areas of the campus, I think it was their continuing ed, was changing student grades to get more grants. Yeah, true story. Just recently, two of the bigwigs just decided to retire. It sucks. If you have no integrity. So if all of a sudden Rose State got the word out that Brendan was changing everybody's grade to an A, what would happen to our accreditation? We wouldn't have one. What would your degree mean? You wouldn't have one. So Integrity is kind of a big deal. Availability is probably the biggest thing right now. How many times have you sat home on the couch and decided to binge watch an entire season of something on Netflix? And the internet goes out. Come on, y'all done it. Over the holidays, I found Colony and begin with the T. Travelers. Both really good shows. Watched the entire two shows, the entire season in like an entire weekend. It's just awesome. It's like, next. Oh, what happens? Next. But what happens if Netflix goes down? It's not available. I'm going to get very upset. I'm right in the middle of this binge watching session here. Or you're trying to roll a roast day. We had a snow day Friday. What happens if you couldn't get here to enroll? What did that do to our enrollment? I don't know about you guys, but if I'm trying to say I'm going to try to buy this remote, okay? Now I'm going to buy this from NEC.com. So I'm on NEC's website, and it crashes. So am I going to sit there and give it a day? Give them a couple days to fix it? No, I'm going to go to NEC's competitor. I'm going to Amazon.com. I'm going to somebody else to find this remote, and I'm going to buy it. There's a guy sells marine stuff. Sergeant Grit Marine Specialty. He sells everything from T-shirts to caskets for Marines. And I took care of his network for many, many years. I mean, we used to call him. He's like, Ken, I just got a $200 order. Then it got to a $2,000 order. Then he sold $9 million one year. It's crazy. So whenever he had an outage, how much money was he losing in that 30 minutes he's out? How much money do you think Amazon would lose if they were down for an hour? From me alone, that would be a bunch of money. Yeah, literally, I have packages every day from Amazon. It's fun. See, you need something. Yeah, you could go to Walmart, or while you're thinking of it, you could order it on your phone, and it's going to be at your house even before you can make a trip to Walmart. And plus, you can price check everything that way. But availability is one. It's not that it's bigger than the other two, but it's just as important. Okay. Access, asset. These are a lot of, do you have access to it? What are we protecting? Is someone trying to break in? What controls do we have in place? We have a login in place, Can someone exploit our whatever, They're basically the current thought process is, if you haven't been hacked into yet, you most likely don't know about it. Or it will be happening soon. The OPM breach, Office of Personnel Management, happened a couple of years ago. The Chinese were inside the government computer systems for 2 entire years before they were detected. Now we're talking about the actual government computer system. There are guys in charge of all this stuff. And they were in there for 2 full years. They got my entire data. They filed my taxes with all my correct information, including how much I made this year and everything, before I did. I went to file my taxes April 15 because I owed some money. So naturally, I'm going to wait till the last possible minute. I went to file, says, I'm sorry, you've already filed your taxes. I'm like, no, I haven't. Yeah, someone did. With my name, just manipulate so you get a refund. So, that's scary. Okay? Exposure. Obviously, my entire identity was leaked. Did I lose any money? Technically, no, because the IRS put a block on it, but still, it took me nearly a year to get it fixed. Okay? Protection profile, security project. How secure are you? Do you lock your doors at your house? I was actually telling our dean this morning at our meeting. I went on a cruise flew from Will Rogers Airport to Port Canaveral, did a week-long cruise on Disney Cruise Lines. And I don't know if you've ever been to the parking garage at the airport. You roll your window down, you get a ticket, and you go park. So excited to go, I left the window down in the car. With my wife's purse on the front seat of the car for an entire week. Luckily, I parked right by the elevators, and everyone must have thought it was a sting. No one touched my car. I go back out there, I'm like, the car's unlocked, the window's wide open, and the person's sitting on the seat. We were about freaking out. So now I got this, okay, car's locked, check it again, pull on the handle, and check, really freaked me out. But what is your security posture? At that point, I was unsecure. Okay? What risk did I have? Well, how many people walked through the airport? Lots. Okay? Subject and object. Are we protecting documents? Are we protecting the remote controls? What are the things we're protecting? Okay, threats. Brendan might be a bad guy. We don't know that. Okay? Threat agent, how are they going to do this? Is it, and the vulnerability, I got this thing sitting here on the floor. It's been here for years. We don't use it. I could trip on it. So is that a vulnerability? Yeah, I could trip and break my leg. My old office, we had a faculty member walked in, tripped over a chair leg, and fell down and busted her elbow and her wrist and her arm, and just by a chair. I mean, vulnerabilities are everywhere. So, all right, here we go. We got our threat. I'm a hacker. An exploit could be a script. In the summer classes, you will actually be breaking into systems. Okay. Buybay.com. Okay. But I ran an ISP, and someone broke in through a vulnerability, a SQL injection attack in one of the software programs we were using, and stole 400 credit cards. We reported it. We will never ever do that again. I don't have that business anymore, but point is that client of mine says, no, we will never report it again, ever, ever. I don't care if 1,000 credit card numbers get stolen, because it is such a hassle. What happens when Target, TJ Maxx, all those get broken into? Bad publicity. People don't go there anymore. So it's tough. Okay. Says a computer can be the subject of the attack or the object. I can be using this computer to break into another computer, or someone could be breaking into this computer. Okay. What the subject is used to is an active tool, or it could be what someone's trying to break into. Okay. All right. Information. Now we're talking data. Is it availability? I'm going to enroll you in class. Hopefully the schedule is available. Hopefully I can check your GPA. I can check the availability. Is it correct? Right? Is it authentic? I mean, whoever put it in, did it put it in correctly? Okay. Confidential, again, like I said, Brendan's not supposed to be able to see it, so we're not going to let him see it. Is it the correct data? Can it be used? If I'm protecting, I don't know if you've never seen it, but in my home office, Virginia's got this desk. She's my wife, by the way, and that's so much crap on it. We basically, over the Friday, the snow day, me and the kids, since we were all stuck home, cleaned the entire desk, filled up 2 trash cans full of trash off it. Okay? There was not much utility of that desk prior to its cleaning, because you couldn't use it. It was literally this massive pile of crap. So we cleaned it, and now it has use. Okay? What if I have a remote control for a projector I got rid of 5 years ago? How much use does this still have? None. Okay. So am I going to protect whatever's down in that thing? There's a couple Sharpie markers or Expo markers down in there. So are they pretty critical? Should I have a security guard up here guarding those Expo markers? Probably not. So what am I protecting? Does it have use? Okay. In possession, I mean, who owns the data? Who's holding it at the time? So a lot of characteristics of them. CNSS. We currently have these certifications. These are going away. June 2017, they will be gone. The only reason it's going to be gone is the government no longer wants to run the program. Doesn't mean our material is not still good. It's just they're getting rid of the program. So you guys are just starting out. You're not going to get them. Unless you can finish all the courses you need by June. Which ain't going to happen. But it basically gives us a way of coming up with a model for security. It's being replaced, it's being replaced, which you all will learn about soon because I'm going to submit the paperwork in February for the curriculum updates on that. But so it's changes. So components, we have software, hardware, data, people, procedures, networks. All these are components of our network, of our information system. Okay. Get rid of one of them. So if we have no hardware, it's going to be hard. How about, this hardware and software is changing. How about cloud-based stuff now? Where's Netflix ran from? Anybody know? Someone's got to know. It's run on Amazon. Amazon needed a very robust network for one time period. When is that time period? Christmas. Amazon needed a big network for Christmas. What do you do the other 11 months of the year? They farm it out. They sell it out. Our website here at Rose State, we do not host it. We hire it out to a company. That company hosts it on Amazon. Netflix, hosted on Amazon. Netflix is 30% of the entire world's internet traffic between 7 and 9 p.m. Just Netflix. I've had Netflix for years. There's a lot of stuff on there. There's a lot of junk, too. A lot of stuff that's terrible. Highway to Hell. about these guys at Record Service. That's pretty awesome. I love that show. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. But I love kind of reality but I hate Survivor. I've never seen that. But so, I mean, the whole software hardware is changing. Virtualization. We used to have like 30 servers over in our admin building running our PeopleSoft or our system that we all log in with. Now it's got 4. It's all been virtualized out. Okay. Data, obviously data changes all the time. People come and go. Procedures hopefully change all the time. And our networks change. Okay. Balancing security and access. So should I sit here and make it so tough to get in that door that it takes you an hour and a half to get in the door? Now, I had to change my network password last night because I got, the whole, your password expired in 15 days and 14 and 13. And I got down to 2 and I finally changed it because normally I wait till it expires and I'm locked out. But man, it took me like an hour because once I changed it on the network, then I had to change it on my phone, then I had to change it in my iPad, then it locked out my computer, so I had to reboot my machine, then I had to change it in my email. It's like, jeez, it got to the point where if I had to do something, I wouldn't have been able to do it there for a while last night. So if you have too much security when you can't get stuff done, it's tough. We had 3 students who just went to NSA. They all 3 of them are getting job offers from the NSA through our new grant. Okay. No cell phones whatsoever allowed. No Fitbits, no Apple Watches, no technology of anything. They specifically say you can bring an analog watch, you can bring a book. How many of you have a phone, a Fitbit, an Apple Watch, or something? I don't know about you, but I'd be freaking out if I couldn't carry my stuff. It really bothers me. I want to have a tour of DISA. You must leave your phone and you watch it at the front door. You get that jitters like, oh God, I haven't looked at my watch in 5 minutes. What am I going to do? Or I haven't played my slot game on my phone. But, things change, okay? It's called this a process, not a goal, okay? Password policies. We're going to talk about those in this class. How many of you love changing your password? Hopefully that's none of you. But it needs to be done, okay? We do it to become, help us get secure, okay? But will we ever, like it says here, it's impossible to obtain perfect information security. No, we never can. Because just as we fix one problem, we might have another problem. And, I live out on I-40 in Choctaw Road. They're replacing that intersection, by the way. They're actually working on a piece just south of I-40 just north of I-40 right now. They're redesigning the road to protect against the 100-year flood. Yeah, we had the city engineers out there and explain it. They say every 100 years we have the flood of a certain magnitude. This road will be able to withstand that flood, but not the 250-year flood. I don't even know what that is. But they look over the years. I bought a house over on I-40, 89th and Penn, South Side, years ago. And I was literally at closing, and they're like, do you have proof of flood insurance? I'm like, why? Oh, your house is in a flood zone. I'm like, no one told me. I didn't get flood insurance. I said, sorry, deal's off. And they're like, what do you mean? I says, no one told me. I don't have flood insurance, and I couldn't afford flood insurance. So the owner went to the city and got it removed somehow. I said, I don't know how they did that. I was literally on the edge of a culvert, and they got it removed. Then everybody, neighbors, how do you give her flood insurance? We've been trying for years. I'm like, I don't know. I just told them I wasn't going to buy it unless they removed it. But, it's some of those things that, it's never clear cut. Is that Choctaw Road going to flood to the point where the road gets washed out? I would say yes. I-40, that falls apart every day. Okay. Security can be considered a balance between protection and availability. If we make it so difficult to the point you can't use it, why do it? Okay. It says the level of security must allow reasonable access to protect against threats. I took care of a company called Chapel Supply. They sell pressure washers and cleaning equipment. Every night, the backup would fail. They ran an accounting system called Mass 90. If you know anything about accounting systems, they open about 400 files at a time because it's just really crazy. The problem was the employees would sit there and be working. 5 o'clock bell hits. What do you think they did? Lift up hands and walk away and go home. Tire machines logged on literally right in the middle of a purchase order because their deal is, you pay me till 5, it's 5, and I'm leaving. And the owner's like, well, that's true. I says, we'll tell them to log off first. Well, they can't log off before 5 because they have to be working until 5. And the company wouldn't pay them to say after 5 to log off. So I had to figure out a way to automatically get them out of the system. And it was a really pain in the butt. But you see some of the problems we had. And it's just tough. It really causes a lot of problems. Okay. All right. Grassroots efforts. Maybe, you got some guy who really enjoys his job. And see, I tell you, the biggest problem in this field right now is money. There's too much of it. I know it might sound weird. Problem is, if you do good in this field, you can make a ton of money. I have students making over $200,000. The point is, you get good at it. Somebody always wants to hire. I had a guy call me a couple months back. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for a student who has all these qualifications going on. He goes, okay, now forget it. I don't want to hire students. I want to hire you. Because I have all the certifications I wanted. He's like, I'll offer you $84,000, guaranteed $25,000 bonus. I didn't take it. I had a guy call me in November. Another guy wants me to move to Dallas. Be in charge of this entire forensics organization. You're going to be the head guy in charge of buy whatever I want, company car. But I like my job here. It's the only reason I'm here. But in this field, if you're good at what you're doing, especially with LinkedIn, you're going to get job offers everywhere. Okay? So you might be good. You might be that system administrator trying to protect the system. Okay? You might be real technical. I got pulled into computers. I told you I was over in the Air Force and they pulled me into computers. They pulled me there because I knew about computers. They put me into the networking job. You think they liked me there? When the captain says, the colonel told the captain to do it, the captain says, Ken, you now work in the network shop. You're going to tell them how to do their job. How many of those people are happy to see me? 0. Tell you, I had so many issues, and they were always really pissy with me. This one office, building 224, had this problem. They couldn't get, it just didn't work. The network didn't work. Well, kid, if you're so darn smart, you go out there and fix it. So I go over there. Okay, what's the problem? And they're like, there's like 20 computers, and they just couldn't talk. So I look, and their subnet mask on every machine is different. And I'm like, why are a subnet mask is like a zip code. Imagine filling out address labels, and you're just picking random zip codes. What's the odds the mail's going to get there? So I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, they said it doesn't matter, just put whatever we want. I'm like, how about this? How about we put in the correct number and try it? So we put in the correct number, and the entire network just came right on. Everything started working. They could print, and they're like, you're a genius. I'm like, no, it's common sense. A couple months later, they had a printer problem. They called the office. And I happened to be away on vacation for an entire month. So they called there. Is Ken Dewey there? No. Well, we have a printer problem. Oh, come on. Oh, no. We'll wait. They waited an entire month without a printer for me to come back because the network shop, it was crazy. But they finally got over it. But I also caused a lot of problems for them. So normally if I got this one guy who's very technical, does a great job, but if he's the only one that's involved in this, like I said, it ain't going to work. Okay? Think about it. We got one guy over at IT Services that wants to make our network secure. The president could care less. VPs could care less. Faculty could care less. Students could care less. What good is that guy going to be able to do? So you really need that technical guy to know what he's doing, but get other people involved as well. Okay, you need the president to get behind it. I was literally told something at noon today. We have a digital forensics lab we're building right now. It should be up within the month. I was told by the president, spend money. We're in Oklahoma. We have no money. She told me to spend money. Isn't that like crazy talk? Because she knows what we're doing with it and what it's going to be. Okay? So you need upper management behind it. You need policies in place. Our policies here at Rose State suck. When we first got our Center of Academic Excellence, we got denied. It was funny because I was actually at a conference up in Kansas when I heard the word. We got denied. And so I emailed my president. I said, Dr. Britton, who was the president at the time, says, all right, we got turned down. What do you mean you got turned down? I said, yeah, our policies suck. We have nothing in place. He said, what do you mean you have nothing in place? I said, I've contacted everybody in upper management at Rose State, and no one will give me the support I need. That was about 5 o'clock one day. Very next morning, I had a phone call from the president. Ken, you are now to contact all the vice presidents directly, and they will provide whatever support you need instantly. No questions asked, no paperwork required. Because the government told me I had 3 days to fix our application. It's amazing when you get upper management support how quickly we got that fixed. But initially we didn't have it. They didn't understand. They kept saying, I need all this. And yeah, whatever, we'll get to it. It's not important. I said, but it is important. So once I finally got management support behind it, things massively changed. Okay, they can help issue policies or enforce policies. Okay, they can come up with goals. They can make people accountable. They can just make people do their job. Okay, all right. Top down, we got our CEO, we got everybody else. Basically, everybody needs to move on. You can't be just this one guy down here trying to secure the entire network. You'll fail. It can't be the one guy in the middle. Now, does that mean the CEO or the president has to do the work? No, but they have to be able to support the work. You know, I took care of a network at a company called Dixie Air Title Service and also Aerospace Reports. Two different companies, same job. They both did the same thing. Did titles on aircraft. Dixie Air Title Service bought E-machines. If you know what an E-machine is, it was sold by Best Buy. It was the absolute cheapest machine you could get. That literally any problems with it, they just give you a new one. They don't even try to fix it. It's that cheap. Aerospace Reports would spend thousands of dollars per machine. Who do you think worked better? Aerospace Reports is like, Ken, whatever you need, just buy it. Dixie Air was like, Ken, can we save 5 cents by switching to the... And it literally was night and day the way these organizations worked. One of them had no issues whatsoever, and the other one... Literally, until I got rid of the company, it was issue after issue after issue. They'd get the flyer in the mail from Best Buy. We can get an entire new machine for $179. No, you don't want to buy that machine. If you're buying that machine, don't talk to me because they suck. Okay. Systems development lifecycle. You're going to be doing a project on this. Okay. Methodology for the design and implementation of an information system. Okay. It's a formal approach to solving a problem based on a sequence of processes. Use the methodology, and we're going to talk about the different phases. We're going to investigate what we want to do. I want to implement something, so we're going to investigate. What is this? Can we do it? I want to implement some new technology today. We're going to analyze it. Yep, that looks like it will work, or looks like it won't work. Then we're going to come up with a lot. Okay, we're going to build this new building. It's going to have an office here, and it's going to do this. It's going to do that. So logically, we're going to design it. Then we're going to physically, okay, now we're going to draw up the blueprints and make sure it all works. Then we're going to implement it. And this last phase down here, maintenance change, that is the biggest phase. We're always changing things. Think about it. When's the last time, and we got an iPhone in here. Your apps are always getting updated. There's always a new iOS. It's because they're always fixing it. They're always making changes. They're always making updates. Are the updates always good? No, some of them really suck. An app I use all the time will no longer save my password. I'm like, seriously, I have to log in every time? I have a 30-character random password. You know how that sucks to put in every time? But yeah, so that was an update they did. Okay? So investigation. What is the problem? How can we solve the problem? What can we put in play? We're having viruses all of a sudden. Okay, we have no virus scanner, so maybe we need to look into that. Okay, what's going on? Okay, should I spend money to protect these expo markers down here? First of all, are they even a problem? I would say they're not even a problem. But someone could know that. What gets me is I'm always the first one in the building here. So many days I walk in and projectors are on in rooms. Because faculty members at the last class tonight will forget to turn them off. And you would think, since security walks through our buildings continuously all night long, they would say, you know what? There's a projector on in that room. Maybe I should turn it off. They don't. They literally don't. Drives me bananas. I don't know why. There's a problem. I've literally said, can't we just turn them off? That's not part of their job. So, you can see where... How much money should we spend on trying to protect these expo markers? Or should we hire someone just to turn off projectors? That kind of stuff. At the end of it, it says the process is undertaken to, it says economic, technical, behavioral. Can we do this thing? Can we afford this thing? Okay. Analysis. Okay. What does the organization have? What are our current systems? Can we do? Has everyone got a class after this? So if I go a couple seconds over, you won't kill me? Okay. All right. So what do we have? Again, the logical design. What are we going to do? So maybe we want to protect these. Maybe we could come up with a plan. Maybe we're just going to buy a little lockbox to put them in. So, why do we need this thing? Are we going to buy some application? Maybe we're going to buy a virus scanner to protect about those viruses. That would be a logical design. You know what? They got these things called virus scanners. That might solve our problem. Okay? specific technologies. They have these things called virus scanners. Okay? What's it going to cost us? Do we have the proper licenses? Do we need to buy more? Can we do it? Now we're actually going to implement. Now we know we're going to buy endpoint security version 8.6. So we know we're going to we need a virus scanner. Now we're going to determine exactly what we want. We're going to do, can we implement, will these systems support it? I don't know. Many times when you get an update, you're like, okay, this is the iPhone 6 running iOS 10 point something. Do you think the iPhone 1 could support iOS 10? It won't. It can't support it. So whatever I'm trying to implement can it be supported on the system? So now that we know what we're going to buy, now we're going to purchase it. We're going to build it. We're going to make it. We're going to do whatever. I-40 and Choctaw Road, they were going to wipe out the entire intersection. It's going to take 2 years to do it, starting in 2017. That's either March or the third quarter. I don't know which one, but if you go that way, I live there, so it's going to happen. It's supposed to be done in 2012, by the way. It's supposed to be completed in 2012. I think they're a tad bit behind schedule. But can we do it? We're going to implement this plan. This building. I don't know if you noticed over the break, downstairs the hallways were redone. They totally ripped out all the flooring downstairs because they sucked. So yeah, take a look. I mean, up here they still suck. Some of the rooms, I forget which room, I think it's 200. Well, the tiles is popping up again. They didn't implement it correctly. Okay. All right, maintenance and chains, longest and most expensive process. Okay. Spend a lot of time there. All right, now, there's a life cycle, which we're talking about, which encompasses this. I'm going to not lecture over the rest of this chapter. I would like you to look over starting at slide 36. I'd like to spend a minute to talk about your assignment. Is that okay? So it's up to you to look over it. If you have questions, ask me. But the assignments is basically what this is about, the whole life cycle we just talked about. Okay? So I'm going to stop this part, and I'm going to show you your assignment. And let me stop this recording.